Good morning. I'd like to talk to us today about brotherly love. Now, Philadelphia is known as the city of brotherly love, but in recent weeks it's been known as a site of more contention and division than it has been unity. Philadelphia gains its title from the Greek word phileo, which means brotherly love or affection. And what I want to do this morning is just kind of compare and contrast two different pictures in the scriptures of brothers and how they responded to one another, specifically under God's leading of them. So one, you have Cain and Abel, and in Genesis 4, we know that story pretty well. We understand that Cain struck down his brother Abel in jealousy and killed him because God received Abel's gift and not Cain's. When God came looking for Cain, he asked him, "Where's your brother?" And Cain gave a response. His response was, "Am I my brother's keeper? Am I responsible?" Now, God already knew what happened to Abel. So what God was doing was creating an opportunity for Cain to confess and repent of his sin. But instead of being convicted and repenting of his sin, what Cain does is he deflects. And in his defensiveness, he blame shifts and pushes away. And instead of joining God in that opportunity for grace, he pushes against his brother. So he jealousy kills his brother and dismisses or stiff arms an opportunity to respond to God. In contrast, in Exodus 17, you have the story of Moses and Aaron. Aaron was Moses' brother, and Joshua had been led by Moses out to fight against the Amalekites, their enemy. And Moses went up onto a mountainside, and he would lift his arms above that mountainside. And when his arms were lifted all the way up, extended, it says that it was like a banner over the people of God. And Joshua and Israel were successful or victorious against the Amalekites. But when his arms would get heavy and start to drop, that the Amalekites would start to overthrow Israel. Aaron, his brother, and his nephew, Moses' nephew Hur, noticed this. And it says they were directed by God to see it. So they come up behind Moses. They place a rock under him for him to sit. And each of them took one arm, holding up his arms, it says, till late into the night, till day broke. And it says that because they did, ultimately Joshua and the Israelites were victorious. In verse 14 of Exodus 17, it says that God directed them to write this down and never forget. And here's why. Because God directed Aaron and Hur, the brother of Moses and the nephew of Moses, to recognize that his arms were heavy because he's imperfect and life gets heavy sometimes. And instead of taking up arms against a brother like Cain or Abel did, the church is to remember that like Aaron served his brother Moses, we are to come alongside and lift our brother's arms when they get heavy. So instead of taking up arms against, we are to fight for and lift our brother's arms so that the people of God and the world that doesn't even know our God experience the victory of God and the life that's only available in Him. This is what God intends by the church being those who seek to look out for the needs of others more so than they look to their own needs. That they would think more about their brother and loving them in unity more so than they would fighting for self or defending self and deflecting God's prodding. So this morning, here's what I want to encourage you in. I don't know if your arms are heavy and maybe they need lifted. I hope that this morning, this message will be a reminder to you that God is fighting for you even when it feels heavy. And hopefully God has put you in community with others that can come alongside and lift your arms. If this morning you're hearing this and you've been in contention with someone else, you have an opportunity to respond to God. You don't need to deflect God's prodding and dismiss it and run away defending self. What you need to do is join God in it. Put your contention before God, put it aside, and seek where you can join Him in unifying your heart to your brothers or sisters. Let God do a work. We're going to seek to join this week as the Church of Jesus, under His name, under His banner, under the victory that we have in Him, on Sunday morning, 10 o'clock at Mt Juliet and 10:45 at Two Rivers. We're going to stream both the services. So whether you are worshiping with us in your living room or on one of our campuses, we're going to seek to give glory to the one who's victorious and has given us victorious life in Him. but we're also going to seek to join him in how he leads us, directs us. We're not going to deflect him. We're going to join him. We're going to respond in obedience and conviction to his prodding us to love others more than we love ourselves in an effort to worship him. We're going to lift our brother's arms rather than, in a contentious and a divided world, take up arms against the ones he's called us to serve. So I hope you'll be there Sunday. I look forward to it. Let's worship the one who gave us victory. I'll see you Sunday.